Kawhi Leonard was looking like he may be the best player in the NBA, but he never plays due to load management. So today I'm forcing him to play every game. He was drafted into San Antonio as a rookie where he'd start to quickly develop in the Spurs system. He would average 9, 5, and 2 a game in a very solid start to his career, and his new home was stacked with other NBA legends who were known winners for the past decade, and they'd all help the team land a spot in the playoffs with an impressive 59-23 record. In round 1, they would be facing the Lakers with the late great Kobe Bryant. Kawhi's impact wasn't major on the offensive end, but defensively his contributions were felt. With the assignment to guard the Mamba, he would rise to the occasion and average 2.7 steals per game and 1.6 blocks per game, shutting down LA's primary option and helping his team walk into round 2 after a 4-1 series win. Heading into round 2, they got the Mavericks with Dirk. This is going to be a tough one to win. And just as I feared, the defending champs and Dirk would be difficult to contain, and while the Spurs played well, it wasn't enough as Dallas advanced with a 4-3 victory. Heading into year 2, his offensive game started to catch up to his defensive skills. His finishing in the paint began to improve, and he developed a very impressive pull-up jumper, which helped improve his points per game average to 15.2 this season, and the Spurs found themselves in the playoffs again for a first-round meeting with Memphis. In the first round, the Grizzlies wouldn't stand a chance versus San Antonio, and Kawhi was playing with the confidence of a veteran. He would help his team ease by Memphis with a 4-1 victory. Facing Sacramento in round 2, the Spurs thought it would be a breeze, but the Kings were playing great and forced a Game 7. This Game 7 was back and forth the majority of the match. It would come down to a final possession where Kawhi would make a huge defensive play to advance to the conference finals versus the Clippers. Kawhi with the biggest play of his career so far, an elite defensive stop in a Game 7. They're headed to the conference finals. And the conference finals is where Kawhi's second season would end. In season 3, Kawhi will push his game even further and become a first-time All-Star in his way to the playoffs again, where they would defeat the Mavs, Thunder, and get revenge versus the Clippers to face the Miami Heat and the Big Three in the finals. Miami would come out of the gates hot with D-Wade and LeBron dominating in Game 1 and 2 to head back to Miami with a series lead of 2-0.
All right, fellas, I don't know what's going on out there, but we really suck tonight. Leonard, sit the fuck down. You've been playing like shit all game. Now let's go out there and score more points than them so we can win this thing.
After Pop's motivation, they positioned themselves in a winning situation late in Game 3. Three-point game. LeBron has the ball with just under a minute. The Spurs have a chance to make this series 2-1. LeBron, the pull-up, he nails it. That's a tough shot, man. Tony Parker and Tim Duncan pick and roll here. Kawhi coming around that Tim Duncan screen to get Ginobili open. He doesn't shoot the drive, and he touched the ball up by 3:35 left. What is Miami going to do here with 30 seconds? San Antonio desperately needs this game. This is a huge one. They get into LeBron in the post. He fake pass. He drives it on Leonard. The lay. It's no good. He tips it though, and he fucking gets it in there. Wow. Miami found Tony Parker. He hits both free throws. Miami is now down by 3. They have to get an inbound, and they get it to Ray Allen. Udonis has him with the ball. I don't see Dwayne Wade on the court. He might have found out LeBron with the drive, though. The pump. He gets split and jump, and he misses. Split with the rebound. They get a Tony Parker, and I think that's going to do a 2-1 series. After the huge Game 3 win, the Spurs had all the momentum and would be on the attack, and Miami was not ready for this breakout play. The Spurs clawed all the way back in the series, winning it 4-2 on Miami's own court. Kawhi wins his first ring, same time he did real life, but this time, Tim Duncan did get the finals MVP. Kawhi's confidence was at all-time high following his first ring, and his game would take another leap. This time defensively, he would crank it up another notch and shut down some of the NBA's elites. Oh, we actually got a Kawhi Defensive Player of the Year. He never won that IRL, did he? He got it here in this sim. Round 1 of the playoffs this year would be versus the Phoenix Suns, and everyone expected the series to be a cakewalk, but it wasn't. After that embarrassing loss, the next season the Spurs would add LaMarcus Aldridge to the roster, and his play would help the Spurs back into the playoffs. Healthy Kawhi just got to the finals again. He beat some tough players too, man. He beat Harden, Chris Paul, Durant to get into the finals versus LeBron again. In Game 1, LeBron was a man on a mission seeking revenge after the Spurs had ended his dynasty in Miami just a couple years prior, and he would ruthlessly attack the rim. The Spurs would try to figure out a counter and discuss different techniques, but nothing seemed to work, and Cleveland would go on to win Game 1. And in Game 2, the Cavs' second option and Kyrie would catch fire early, and they would win both of these games at home. Game 2 was back in San Antonio, and the Spurs were not out for the count just yet. In front of their home fans, they dial it in and get the job done to protect the home court, and the theme of protect the home will continue in this series. Nobody is losing on home court in this series. Road team has not won a single time. We're headed to Game 7. And with only seconds left, it would come down to the last shot. I don't really know who you go to here if you're the Spurs. Kawhi, I guess. Maybe Mono, those are your best three-point shooters by far. They don't have a lot of good shooters. I don't know if they still have Danny Green on the team at this point. Kawhi using a screen, though. He's creating space in that mid-range. He loves the mid-range. He's driving it in. Time is ticking. 5 seconds. They pull it back out. Tim Duncan. Tony Parker for 3. Oh, it just barely rims out. Cleveland wins a championship. Wow. In Season 6, Kawhi would have full reign of the Spurs team. Duncan finally retired, and now Kawhi was the #1 option, with all eyes around the league on him and what he can do as the primary piece of a franchise. He performed under pressure and ended up with his career high in points and another Defensive Player of the Year. And on top of all that, he also got them the 3rd seed. 55-27 is not bad as the #1 guy. Round 1 of the playoffs was versus the Utah Jazz, and Kawhi would average a very strong 27 points per game. And while this series certainly lasted longer than they would have liked, they still ended up advancing after 7. They would face the MVP Harden in round 2, who averaged nearly 40 points per game in the regular season. Kawhi would play well offensively, but on the other end, the MVP was not fazed by the Defensive Player of the Year, and he would set the court ablaze with a 43 points per game average throughout this series. Kawhi wasn't able to contain Harden or even slow him down for that matter, and before we knew it, Kawhi had been swept in round 2. But 2018 would be different. Kawhi earns an MVP, and good lord, look at those stats. I hope y'all putting them numbers like that in the subscribe and like button right now in this video. And he would be in the conference finals in a Game 7 versus Golden State. This Game 7 was a dogfight between Durant and Kawhi, both guarding each other and both attacking each other for the entirety of the match. It felt like more than a trip to the finals was on the line here. These players were battling it out for the sakes of their legacies and what will go down as one of the greatest one-on-one matchups of all time. But in the end, the Spurs would get enough separation in the 4th to safely win this and head on over to the finals. And they're actually playing Embiid in the finals, so I guess this is kind of the most unrealistic sim ever. These finals will represent the pinnacle of Kawhi's growth during his time in San Antonio, as he would have full control of the series versus the Sixers, and he would overcome them in a clean 4-0 sweep. And this time around, Kawhi would be the one hoisting up a finals MVP. Things would be different for the Spurs in 2019 though, as Kawhi joins Toronto. He'd fit in great with his new team, and he'd help them get to the best record in the East in an attempt to bring the first ever championship to Toronto. Come playoff time, he'd face Embiid again in round 2, and this time Joel was thirsty for revenge from the finals. He would take a commanding 3-2 series lead, and Kawhi faced elimination in the final moments of a tightly contested Game 6. Kawhi's gonna have to play with a sense of urgency here, down by 3 with 100 seconds remaining. Tobias Harris drives in, no call, but he makes the lay. Down by 5, they're gonna have to score quick. Kawhi's got it, 53 seconds. You cannot waste a lot of time, and he's driving in on Jimmy Butler. Oh, he loses it. He loses off of Harris's foot. Harris driving on the fast break. He's going all the way. The lay. It's no good. The Raptors have time. Kawhi Leonard on the break. He's going all the way. And he slams it. Makes it a 3-point game. They just need one stop. Tobias Harris in the clutch again. Harris driving. Oh, shooting over Siakam. That's no good, but it big is the board, and he puts it back up in it. 5-point game. Raptors timeout. Down 5, 15 seconds. No timeouts. You got to go for a 3 this possession. One-on-one with Butler. Danny Green for 3. Here it is. Oh, it's no good. The Sixers get the rebound. And Tobias Harris is fouled. And Toronto's season ends here. But now we'll finally find out what could have been with a healthy Kawhi on the Clippers. This Clippers team would all click together, and they would turn out to be some of the most exciting basketball to be watched all season long. Clippers fans were ecstatic for the new duo of Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, and they were confident that this could finally be the year that the Los Angeles Clippers would make it to their first ever finals. But boy, were they wrong. Bro, the Clippers missed the playoffs entirely? How is that possible? I'm at a loss for words. Kawhi and Paul George put in 60 combined tonight, and these dudes didn't make the playoffs. And things were not getting much better the next season. But just know, this won't be the last time Kawhi and King James meet. In their 3rd season together, PG-13 and Kawhi would finally get their chemistry figured out and looked like the team that people thought that they would be. They finished with a 53-29 record heading into the playoffs. Bro, come on, man. They lost this 7 to the Kings. Like, I just need him to do some winning with the Clippers for the sim. What is going on? The 2023 playoffs would roll around, though, and he'd have an opportunity for redemption versus the Golden State Warriors. Westbrook had now joined LA, and his production with Kawhi's would be enough to take Game 1, which was a breath of fresh air. But tragedy seemed to strike again, as Golden State would trust in their experienced champions, and they would change the narrative after Game 3. Going back into Golden State, they would find a way to get things done in enemy territory and get this series tied back up 2-2, but this would not last for long. Oh my God. Don't tell me they're about to lose in round 1 again, man. With their backs pinned against the wall, Kawhi refused to be eliminated early yet again and dug deep with a 40-point performance to get his team into a Game 7. Oh my God, this is more stressful than it should be. A best of 7 going to Game 7. I don't even know how we got to this point. with a 1 seed versus an 8 seed, but it's a close game 7. Paul George on the bench, fouled out after shooting 4 for 14. So it's all Kawhi left, and Curry is on him down low. Get that ball to Kawhi, Russ, not a Zubac. Like, what? Why? He gets the board, though. The putback, he hits it. 2-point lead, thank God. 53 seconds, the Warriors have it. You have to watch out for the 3 here. Do not let them take a lead. You have to get out of this first round, Kawhi. Kawhi is on Curry. That is a fantastic matchup. That's what you want. The screen from Draymond. Curry curling around it, and he pulls straight by Batum. The easy lay. He ties this thing. Do these guys not know it's winner go home? Please lock in. Curry's on Kawhi. I still don't know why Batum. Russ has it. Get the ball to Kawhi. Down low in the post versus Curry. The post fade. He hits it! Clippers lead with 28 seconds to go. Kawhi just hit probably the biggest shot in Clippers history. The Warriors have the ball, down 2. Oh, Curry, the step back, no! Oh, it's off! They get the board, Zubac has, oh, this is not who you want on the free throw line. I haven't been this nervous since the first time I was sleeping with a woman, man. This is bad. Zubac, he hits the first one, thank you, God. The second one, man, Zubac, come on, bro. I don't know if you've ever done anything worthwhile in your life. This has to be the one thing you do. He hits it, come on, Zubac, that's what I'm talking about. The Warriors still have time, though. You got Curry, he can hit a 3 in lightning speed. Pooh. Send that boy to China. It's over. They're going around 2. After PG and Kawhi finally won their first series together, they were hungry for more, but they'd have to go through LeBron James to get there. Kawhi would play fantastic, looking like the Kawhi of his San Antonio days, and would get his team off to a 2-0 lead, but the large Lakers lineup would give the Clippers issues all series, and completely losing the bat on the glass made what would be a close matchup not so close after all. They just keep, bro. They can't win with this team. Now, with one of the most highly regarded prospects of all time joining the league, the question would be, can Kawhi get things done for the Clippers before it's too late? And it turns out a play-in tournament would be the deciding factor. The significantly younger Thunder team came out with far more energy than the aging Clippers team. Led by SGA and Josh Giddey, they maintain a comfortable lead over the Clips for the majority of the game until LA will fall out of the playoffs with a loss. This loss would lead to Kawhi testing free agency with his contract up, and this failed experiment with the Clippers would finally be over. This Cavs team is stacked, man. Kawhi's a sick man for a ring chaser like this, but I got a good feeling he's gonna get a few more championships. Kawhi's fit in his new home was perfect. Even as the team's 4th option offensively, he did his part to help his team with some respectable averages, and Cleveland would land the 2nd seed after winning 63 games. His team would look to his veteran leadership and let his lockdown defense fuel him to success as he'd coast into the finals for the first time in what feels like an eternity. Their matchup would be versus the Timberwolves and Anthony Edwards, who has developed into one of the absolute best players in the NBA. Kawhi would enter this final scoring relatively efficiently with savvy veteran moves, but these scoring opportunities would be few and far between as elite scorers Mitchell and Garland commanded the rock often. Where Kawhi would really shine, though, would be his assignment against Anthony Edwards. He would make Edwards' life on the court a living hell. His airspace was jammed by Kawhi with a block more often than not. The on-ball pressure left Edwards bothered, and his game struggled to adapt to Kawhi's aggressive lockdown D. The Timberwolves' best player had effectively been completely decommissioned, and this helped Cleveland win this series in 6, and Kawhi Leonard would finally earn ring number 3. And the winning wouldn't stop there, as they would breeze through the next 2 finals without any resistance. And then 2028 came around. They were facing a stacked Spurs team led by Wembanyama, Durant, and Bronny James. Kawhi would have a few highlight moments and seemed to turn back the clock for his return to San Antonio. He was dialed in and pulling out every move he added to his toolbox throughout his eventful 16-year NBA career. He and his teammates will push this God squad to the edge in a must-watch Game 7 showdown. And the 4th quarter is still close. This game has been within about 6 points the entirety of the match. Spurs up by 1 with the ball. Bronny James gets it down to Victor Wembanyama. Jared out on him. Great defender, but Victor creates enough separation to score up by 3. Can Kawhi secure a 6th championship? This is huge for his legacy. 6 ties MJ. Donovan Mitchell with the ball. The screen. Evan Mobley on the roll. Nowhere to go. He's smothered. He's driving it back in again. And the lay, that's tough, but he hits it. 1-point game, San Antonio ball. Wembanyama bringing the ball up to the court. This is not fair, man. Jared Allen guarding him. The drive, and he slams slams it in. Oh my God. Mitchell serving in the court, looking for an opportunity. 10 seconds on the shot clock. He's got to go quick. Mitchell driving by, and then he slams it on this end. 1-point game again. Victor Wembanyama bringing the ball up to court. 40 seconds remain. Jared Allen, we need a stop. One stop, please. Is this it? He fouls him. At least he didn't make it. Cavaliers, 35 seconds left. Donovan Mitchell has been clutch so far in these final moments. He's in the post. Screen from Evan Mobley. Mitchell driving in. Step back. That's tough. It's no good. Mobley can't get it. They foul Victor. Oh no, that could do it. And after a number of free throws, Kawhi for 3. Doesn't matter anyway. The Spurs win by 8, and they're going to become NBA champions. Wow. And after this season, Kawhi would enter retirement with a very illustrious career and a ton of accolades to show for it. But what about Ben Simmons, another guy who doesn't play often? I turned him into the GOAT. Find out how his career went by clicking this video.